Please don't forget subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to get notified of new daily videos.
I was a dedicated technician at a high-end electronics repair and retail studio, Technolux, a place I genuinely enjoyed until Yvette took over as studio manager. From day one, she was a nightmare. Yvette had this infuriating habit of micromanaging every single move. Then, if she saw me pause for a second, she'd burst out of her office, screeching about how I wasn't working. If I ever pointed out that all my tasks were complete and no customers were waiting, a spontaneous accident would occur, a tray of components slipping onto my freshly wiped workstation, or a coffee spill that only I was expected to clean up. Her favoritism was blatant. She'd cut my hours, even though I was one of the most efficient technicians, while her hand-picked crew of friends, who barely knew the difference between RAM and ROM, got prime shifts and inflated bonuses. She'd make these condescending remarks about customers, often bordering on classist, especially if they weren't buying the most expensive models. She once told a group of us, "While you're on the clock, your thoughts are my property." When we all stared, she backpedaled weakly, but the message was clear. The worst was her hour theft. Yvette would clock in first thing, then disappear for hours, only to return just before closing to clock out. The company's old punch card system would print out slips. She'd discard them carelessly, often near my workbench. I, being meticulous, started collecting them, tucking them into my uniform pocket out of habit. Little did she know I was collecting a ticking time bomb. After nearly a year of this abuse, I landed an amazing opportunity at a larger tech firm. I planned to reduce my hours at Technolux, giving ample notice. But Yvette, sensing my departure, saw an opportunity for spite. The day I went in to give my notice, she let me get through my entire polite resignation speech. Then, with a sneer, she said, "Oh, I was just about to tell you, you're fired." I was blindsided, furious. My mom always taught me respect, but the sheer maliciousness of it made me explode. I cursed her out, walking out in a rage. I had another job, so I figured I'd let it go, until a few days later. Our district manager, Lenny, texted me, assuming I was still employed. I explained I'd been fired. Lenny was genuinely shocked. My performance reviews were consistently excellent. When he asked why, I vented. I told him everything. The cut hours, the verbal abuse, the condescending remarks, and her pattern of cycling out good employees for her clique. I mentioned the hour theft and the mountain of punch slips I still had. Lenny was livid, especially about her firing me to spite me before I could quit. He asked if there was anything else. That's when a brilliant, chilling plan began to form. I remembered my coworker, Randy, a self-proclaimed vlogger who constantly recorded his day, hopping to catch viral content. His content was usually cringeworthy, but he meticulously labeled his audio files by date and time. I contacted him and other ex-colleagues Yvette had pushed out or fired. Randy confirmed he had hours of recordings, and after some digging, we found multiple instances of Yvette making her condescending remarks, or even telling staff to use refurbished parts and charge for new. Others provided written statements detailing her abuse and the obvious favoritism. But that wasn't enough. I wanted her to truly suffer for what she'd done. I remembered hushed rumors about Yvette's predecessor, Darrin, a talented manager who left abruptly. Online sleuthing led me to Darrin's social media, where I found hints of a messy divorce. Further digging revealed Yvette had been having an affair with him while she was married. Worse, she had blackmailed Darrin, threatening to expose their affair to his wife if he didn't quit and pay her off. He left, but when he stopped paying, she told his wife anyway, leading to his ruin. I discovered blackmail in our state carried significant prison time and hefty fines. I reached out to Darrin, carefully laying out my plan and the legal options. He was hesitant but agreed to press charges, contingent on me finishing my part first, giving me a week. I met Lenny with a thick folder. Inside were the time slips, the signed statements from colleagues, and key timestamps for Randy's audio recordings. Lenny was aghast. He promised a full investigation. A few days later, driving past Technolux, I saw it was closed midday. A former colleague still working there texted me the bombshell. Lenny had checked security footage, confirming Yvette was never there for the full hours she claimed. He then dug into the studio's accounts. He found a massive financial fraud scheme. Yvette was ordering expensive parts for repairs that never happened, then selling them on the side, pocketing the cash. She was also inflating repair costs for customers, diverting the extra. She was fired on the spot, along with her entire clique, leaving the studio critically understaffed and in disarray. Technolux had to shut down temporarily for a complete audit and overhaul. That was just the beginning. I made sure Yvette's husband, who had been oblivious to her cheating, received anonymous, undeniable proof of her affair, including her blackmail of Darrin. He filed for divorce, taking her completely by surprise. With her job gone, her marriage collapsing, and the news hitting her social media like a bomb, she was destitute. That's when Darrin, empowered by my revelations and with solid legal advice, filed his lawsuit for extortion. To add insult to injury, Technolux, through corporate lawyers, also sued Yvette for all the money she'd stolen, plus damages for lost revenue and the cost of the internal cleanup. Yvette's world imploded. She had to sell her expensive car and other assets at fire sale prices to cover mounting legal fees. I heard snippets from Darrin about her breaking down in court, sobbing. The last I heard, she was living with a sister who openly despises her, scraping by, unemployable in the industry she'd ruined for herself. She thought she owned me. Instead, I meticulously dismantled her life, piece by piece, until nothing was left but the consequences of her own malice. It was the most satisfying thing I've ever done. The woman who thought she held all the power ended up with nothing. Justice, for her, was a total, unmitigated catastrophe.
If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up button to like it. And please do subscribe to support the channel.